What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Neighborhood Podcast. One of the hosts of the podcast. My name is Kyle Dabro.
What's going on, everybody? Kevin Valentin here, the other half of the podcast. Kyle, what we talking about, brother?
Kevin, we got to bring up a topic that, to be quite honest with you, I get no satisfaction of bringing this up. Got to talk about Zion Williamson and the latest setback that he's had in his recovery from the surgery that he had in his right foot. And really, when you look at the situation that Zion is currently facing, it's been reported through multiple sources that Zion is possibly looking at getting a second surgery on his right foot that was surgically repaired last year. And if that were to be the case, it would effectively end his season while recovering from that second surgery, if that happened to be the case. I mean, Zion, throughout his career, has been dominant when he's actually hit the court. In his career, he's averaging 25 points a game. But really, the one thing that has derailed his career so far has been this foot injury that has lingered on for a substantial amount of time. So, Kevin, the question that I have for you, with Zion Williamson possibly looking at a second surgery on his right foot, do you think that this injury could potentially derail his career?
I mean, unfortunately, I'm no doctor, but when we're talking about his foot and then him being overweight being one of the causes of the setbacks, and then, of course, his diet and all these different things that you're thinking about, I would say yes. I mean, it's not like it's a shoulder or it's an ankle or something. We're talking about his foot. All of his weight is on this particular portion of his body. It's not something you can wrap and manage and deal with. It's not something you can get an injection in a game. This is where you jump, you move, you pivot, you cut off of your feet. And unfortunately, in this particular case, if Zion ends up having a second procedure on that same injury that he was unable to rehab from the first time, it's not going to bode well. Kyle and I made a segment a couple of months back where we made a bold statement and we said that this could be season ending because of how many setbacks he continuously had to go through. With his original time to be back would be around the Christmas era, around December portion. We are halfway through February, and now we are getting into the portion of now he needs a second procedure. So the only thing we can do is wait. But if you really were to ask me, move forward with New Orleans, I think that this potentially could change the dynamic of who Zion Williamson is and how he's going to be able to perform at a high level in the NBA.
Kevin, it's really unfortunate because the way that I see it, first of all, I think this year is out the window with Zion. I think get the surgery, get this taken care of now, and hopefully with this procedure possibly getting done, that it corrects this lingering foot issue that's really been bothering him for the last couple months. Because, Kevin, when I look at Zion Williamson, just the player that he is, when he's on the court, this dude is the entire package. This dude is dynamic. He's just a monster down low in the paint. And even his jump shooting abilities is something that you have to take consideration of because he has been known to knock down some pretty big buckets when given the opportunities. So, unfortunately, just the main part that we have to keep reiterating is his weight. And I think when it comes to his weight in particular, I think that's probably a part of why this foot issue has really been lingering for so long. Because, Kevin, we've seen since his high school days, the amount of force that he gets on his jumps. I mean, it's significant. But with how big he is, when all that weight comes down just because of gravity pulling him back down to the ground, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight that his feet have been taking for years. And I think it's just gotten to a point where he's going to have to make a change, not only in just his lifestyle choices as far as his eating habits go, but possibly how he even plays the game. Because with all that jumping and just his feet hitting the ground the way that they have, it's not going to be a long-term playing style. It's not. So he's going to have to show some versatility in being able to adjust his game if he continues to play into his mid-20s, late 20s, and then hopefully into his late 30s. But, when it comes to injuries, it's the one thing that it just sucks when you see it because we know what Zion Williamson is capable of when he's on the court. The dude is an amazing basketball player. But, with these injuries, they can derail a man's career. And if they're persistent, they're never really the same player that they were before these injuries took place. Now, hopefully, Zion's able to come back after this foot issue is resolved, and we get to see him play like he always has, before this became an issue. And I hope it does, because he is probably one of the up and coming stars that could really make a huge impact in the NBA moving forward. Unfortunately, that has a chance to be derailed because of this foot issue. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully this gets taken care of and he can go out and dominate with the Pelicans for the next couple of years, because God only knows that they need it, because the Pelicans have been largely irrelevant without him on the court. So my advice to him, just take it easy. If it becomes a point where you have to get this procedure, get it done, and then just prepare for next season. You pretty much take an entire season off the table, especially for somebody this young. You don't really want to see it, but I think he's just in a situation where he really has no other choice, and he's just got to rely on the medical advice that he's getting. And then once that's taken care of, just ramp up for the season next year. It's unfortunate. I get no satisfaction in bringing this up, but if he's not careful, this foot injury could really derail his career. I hope it's not that way. I hope he's able to flourish after this, but it's tough to see, man. It really is.